Hi, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and I'm using Studio Software, the Designer Edition, to show you a little bit about the shadow function. I've just drawn a ball here and I've put some letters in. So I'm going to show you what happens if you select the ball and choose, for example, a dynamic shadow. And I can change the colour if I wish to whatever I fancy. And if I move the axis, I can put it up and down, and I can move it left and right to get a shadow where I want. But to be honest, on the ball, that doesn't look particularly brilliant, and it's not a very realistic shadow in the slightest. So what I want to do is to release the shadow, and that means I can play with it as an independent object. But it does mean that you no longer control it by using the sliders, okay? It's now an object, not a shadow. What I'm going to do is squish this shadow down and maybe lengthen it a bit. Maybe not. Okay, and as you can see, that gives a much better 3D effect. If you played with it more, you could get far more realistic than that. And obviously, if you had a variable type of fill on here, you could get it to look more like a round ball than a circle. Now let's see what happens if we do something similar with the help. Okay, go for a dynamic one again and pick a colour. What I'm going to go for something quite dark, I think. Maybe darker than that, I don't know. Come on, where's the darkest colours? Okay, that's pretty dark. And I'm going to go for a bit of a movement on here. No, don't move it that way. Move it that way. That's it. Help. There we go. So I've got a shadow, but again, not unduly realistic. So go to the release shadow and treat it as an object. Now in this particular case, if I move it left or right, up and down, it really doesn't do much for it. What I need to do in this particular case is to make it perhaps a bit taller, and then I want to go to the shear option and I move it like that, so that makes it look much more like a shadow. As you can see, the letters would be stood up and the shadow would be on the ground. Okay, now cut options on this. If I go back to the shadow box, you see you can have an option which says cut around the shadow. Now be wary of this if you alter it from anything other than what was originally applied. If you go to the cut settings, you will see exactly what happens. Now this is set to no cut, so really truly that shouldn't, let's put that back to no cut, that shouldn't have anything. Okay, so if I select this now and I go to cut, it's going to cut that shadow there and the wall, obviously not what I want. So I need to put that back to cut edge to make sure it goes around the entire thing. Again with this one here, if I select everything, go to no cut first of all, and you can see what it looked like. Now if I go to cut, it's going to cut all these words elongated through here, which is going to leave me right in this. So again, I want to go to cut edge, and then you find that it cuts around as if this were a compound path, a complete path. And that will be the effect, obviously, that you'd want to get on this particular thing. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that brief tutorial. It is a short one, but it's a fun tool to play with, and you might find a use for it somewhere. Let me know if you do. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.